This session involves Robert, a 14-year-old boy who was adopted by his grandparents. Prior to the adoption, he had been exposed to domestic violence and substance abuse while residing with his mother and stepfather. Robbie has a great difficulty giving expression to his inner life. He's very quiet and withdrawn, and his grandparents are concerned that he spends so much time in his room and does not reach out to them. When he was younger, when he came to live with them at 8 and 9, he was much more communicative and seemed to be happier, but as the years go on, he is increasingly withdrawn. In this session, there's a great deal of energy on the part of the therapist to facilitate Robbie's ability and readiness to become engaged in the story of his life so that he can start to make sense of it and rely more actively and openly on his grandparents, which he needs to do if he's going to move into a more successful adolescence. I hope that you find this session to be informative. Thank you. Because you're 14. This is sort of being a teenager, being in school, having some friends, playing some sports or music or hanging out, you know, following up on something you're interested in, having a chance to do that without having to worry about work and stuff. I think they're worried that you aren't happy about much, and they're looking for ways to sort of light you up again, to help you to have some energy about your life. They're worried about you.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, they are worried.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, because he's your grandson.
We love him.
You do. Yeah. Hey, do you feel that, Robbie? You know your grandparents love you? Okay. How does that feel, being loved by your grandparents?
I don't know.
You just don't. It's just sort of there, huh? Yeah. I think what you're saying by not saying is that there's other things on your mind that you just don't tell people about much. I think you're a thinker. And you have a lot on your mind. And it's not something you're in a habit of sharing with your grandparents or anybody. You just hold it all by yourself. That's my impression now as I'm getting to know you. Because you're not sitting there thinking about some silly little thing that doesn't matter to anybody. I think you're thinking about some pretty important stuff, and I'll bet in your room you do a lot. In my guess, Robbie, tell me if I'm wrong, my guess is what you think about is hard stuff. Things that take away your happiness. Things that make it hard for you to be happy. Is that fair to say? That's what I thought. I think your grandson is, my guess is, a thoughtful person.
Mm-hmm.
He's serious about life, is my sense so far.
Mm-hmm.
That he's trying to make sense of his life,
Mm-hmm.
and he got a lot of questions that he's sort of carrying around with him, and he doesn't know how to ask them, and he doesn't know how to answer them. That's my sense.
Yeah.
That's a guess, and again, I can't read your mind. What's your sense? Is that close to the truth, or is it partly the truth?
Close.
Close? Okay, thanks for letting me know. Wow, he doesn't say much so far,
Mm-hmm.
but what he says is pretty powerful. It was close to the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think your reasons for worry about him that's coming by him spending time in the room are, you have a lot of good reasons to be worried.
Yes.
Because he's 14, he's not 28. And I think he's trying to do this by himself. And it's a bit much for him, and it's just wearing him down. It's sort of like carrying all this weight.
He's not talking to us about what's on his mind.
Yeah. Like he doesn't know how to let you help him out with this.
So many thoughts we're going through.
Lots of thoughts. Okay, great. Could you tell us a bit of them? Can you break them up a bit?
What would be one of the thoughts that went through?
It's just having my parents having thoughts they loved me, then just leaving me, and then having another person do that. Just feel like they're gonna do the same thing.
Yeah.
Robbie, we would never leave you. We love you.
Yeah.
Valerie, did you hear what he said there?
Yes.
Yeah.
It makes me sad.
Yeah. That he, at this point, he's still struggling with his parents not loving him the way he needed to be loved. And they probably said at times when he was little that they loved him, and he probably trusted it. And he just said that, okay, you guys say that, but it might happen again. He can't sort of separate you two from his parents, and your love is just sort of scaring him. Something like that. I think.
Robbie, I'm different than your dad. I'll never hurt you. I never have, and I never will. And your grandma's, she loves you just like your mom loves you, but your mom, my daughter, our daughter, we love her just as much as we love you, but it's almost too late with her, but it's not too late with you, Robbie.
He's not sure if he trusts love. And he's sort of struggling what to do with that. And I think the bottom line is you got a grandson who's really lonely because he doesn't know how, or he's not sure about letting anybody in, including his grandparents, because of how much it hurt him what his parents did. That's my guess. So I think before we sort of reassure him or tell him what we have to offer, especially you two, you have a million times more to offer than I do, I think we have to let him know we get it, how hard that is for him. We really get it.
It's just hard for me to hear him say that.
It is hard, but we got to hear him say it. Because he needs to tell his truth. We can't talk him out of it. That's his truth right now, and he's telling us.
We'll do anything to help Robbie. We'll do anything.
Well, why don't you just say, Robbie, right now, we're sorry you're not able to sort of feel comfortable with our love for you. And we're going to keep looking for ways to make it easier for you to take.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
Robbie, we're sorry that you can't feel our love for you right now. And we'll just wait until you're comfortable and you're ready. We'll just be here for you. We won't leave you.
I think I was saying to you guys, we got to let him know that he's not so sure about the love. But even before that, I think he's saying, tell me why my parents weren't loving me very well. I got a lot of questions. They hurt me terrible. I've been holding back. I need to know this. I'm 14 and I need to know. Why weren't my parents more parents? Why did they let me down? Why did they fail me? Why didn't they love me the way you guys say you love me? If I'm that lovable, why didn't they love me? I think you're telling us you need answers before you can let them love you. You need to know what the heck happened. Why is your life like it was for the first 9 years? And why are you living with your grandparents now? You love them, but they're not the people you want to live with. You want to live with your parents, and they're not living with you, and they're not letting you live with them in a good way. Am I right? Did I jump the gun there on this? You got questions? You got things you want to tell us? Things you want to know? What are your questions? What's your first question?
Why did this happen?
Why did it happen? Why did it happen? Why was this little boy, this beautiful, innocent little baby, born in a home with parents who did such a terrible job of taking care of him, of loving him, of keeping him safe, of playing with him, of holding him, of teaching him? Why did they mess up? Okay. Would you be willing, you're asking something real hard of your grandparents here, because you're asking them to talk about the pain in their life too, because this is their daughter. Your mom is their daughter. And so they have that same question, but they're older than you, they're wiser than you, they've had a lot of life experience, so they might have been able to make sense of it a little better than you have. But I think you're asking them to face the pain that they have to face to help you with this. Is that what you're asking them to do? He is. He's asking you to do something real hard now to help him to make sense of why your daughter wasn't able to be a better mother for him. Okay? Were you willing to do that?
Yes. Yes.
I'm just guessing this is close to what else is going on inside of you. And if I'm wrong with my guess, just say, that's not it, because I can't read your mind, okay? But if I'm right, it might help you to be able to say it, and it might help your grandparents to be able to understand this about you, okay? This is my guess. My guess is he also wants to say, it's fine for you, you love her, and I love her, but I also hate her sometimes. She hurt me so bad, she left me down. She gave up on me, she didn't work for me. Sometimes I hate her, and I hate myself for hating her. You see, you feel that way sometimes? I think he hates himself for hating his mom sometimes. Because he loves her. He doesn't want to hate her. But she hurt him so bad, and sometimes I think it's impossible not to be filled with hate about the way she didn't keep him safe, and she didn't stop her drinking.
Yes.
She didn't kick him out. She didn't get the police involved to help her out with this.
That's right.
She protected him rather than her son.
So it's okay for him to love her and really be angry with her at the same time.
Well, that's how I see it, but the important thing is, how does he see it? Am I right about that? I think he's really hard on himself for hating her sometimes, or being real mad at her. Whatever we call it, is real strong anger at his mom. And he doesn't want to have it, but it's there. It's sitting on him. Because he knows all the pain she caused him. If only the pain of not keeping him, it's not that she hit him and punched him and stuff, but she didn't stop it. And she didn't make sure that her husband would have to leave if he couldn't treat her and her son better.
Yeah.
And he wants a mom. He wants his mom. And why isn't she taking care of him? Why didn't she work harder? Why didn't she, he's in jail now, why isn't she getting her act together to be his mom? Am I right? Yeah. You're carrying a lot, Rob. You're carrying a lot. No easy answers for this. Your feelings are your feelings, and they make all the sense in the world to be so mixed up and so big. And so sort of, they don't go away. They're not easy to sort of make sense of or to sort out. They're really heavy. Wow. This is hard, hard stuff to talk about.
Yes, it is.
Harder for you two to live all these years, and hardest of all, for Robbie to live.
Yes.
Because you were grown up already.
That's right.
You had had your childhoods that were pretty okay, and had decent families, and chance to have school and friends and interests and stuff. And in many ways, Robbie was not given the same opportunities you two had.
I hate myself for just being mad at her because she left and couldn't really take care of me.
Yeah. Yeah. Because she left and didn't take care of him. She's his mother who did that. Yeah. And he wants it so bad still. He wants it so bad still. Yeah. Your grandparents weren't there all the time. They weren't able to be. Like your grandfather said, when he heard, it broke his heart when he heard about your father hitting you, hurting you, throwing you down. Hitting your mom, throwing her down. When you were a little fella, you tried to stop your dad and he wouldn't let you. He yelled at you, swore at you, threw you down. You were a little fella. You didn't understand this at all. I think when you try to figure this out, I think you came up with the thought that you're a bad kid. That you're just a no good kid. That your parents wouldn't treat you this way if you didn't deserve it. That if you had been a good kid, your dad would have been a better dad and a better husband. Your mom would have loved you in a way to take care of you. I think you've been on your own back about this, that somehow you caused all that stuff to happen, even when you were 1 and 2, when your father was screaming at you and hitting you. Does that make any sense? It's hard to think about. It's hard to feel that, isn't it? I think it makes sense, but I think Rob is trying not to feel it. It's more than just being mad at himself for being mad at his mom. It's being mad at himself for living in a way. When he's a little boy, he thought he didn't deserve to live because he was getting hit so much and hurt so much that somehow he caused it all. He may have even caused his mother to get hurt from his mind. A little fellow. Maybe he was crying, his mother tried to help him stop crying, she didn't get the dinner ready, so his father beat his mother because the dinner wasn't ready because he was crying. It could be all kinds of stuff like that.
That's a lot of guilt for a little boy to carry.
Just carries and just weighs him down. Yeah.
Not your fault.
But he feels it.
Yeah.
It's hard for him not to believe it because he felt that way when he was 1, when he was 2, when he was 3. At 14, he's trying to say, how could it be my fault? I'm just a baby. But in his guts, in his belly, it still comes out that way.
Still there.
Somehow it must have been my fault. Somehow I don't deserve love. Which would make it another reason it'd be hard to take your love. Gosh, you look sad. You look worn down, more than sad. You look worn out. You really do. You look worn out. He is worn out. I think you're worn out because you got big stuff that you're carrying around. Rob, you got big stuff you're carrying around by yourself. If you let your grandparents help you, you won't be worn out. If you let them help you to carry it, you'll be able to have some energy back. You'll be able to actually say, hey, I want to do something. I want to leave my bedroom. I want to go out. I want to play some ball. I want to spend time with friends. I want to do something with my grandpa. Find something silly or something that's fun or something that's just out of the ordinary and get my grandpa and want to go out and do it together. I think that's what you'd want if you let your grandparents carry some of the weight that you're carrying around. Does that make sense? Can you do it? Can you do it? Know what that means? It means you have to ask them for help. You have to say, will you help me with this, Grandpa? Will you help me with this, Grandma? That takes a lot of courage. Yeah. And you might feel little, and you might feel scared. You might feel vulnerable. You might want to cry. Your grandpa might tease you about that once in a while. He might say, men don't cry. He knows better. He knows you got tears, you let them out, you feel better, and you're not a baby for doing that. You're more of a man if it's what you need to do, and you let somebody you trust and love help you with it. There's nothing to worry about. Does that make sense? Okay, you're working really hard here. You're not using many words. You don't have to use a lot of words. You're letting us use some words. You're letting your grandparents give you some hugs and touch you, and you're listening to them. You're doing really well. I want to ask just for a few words. Will you turn to your grandpa, you look him right in the eyes, and you say, Grandpa, will you help me with this?
Grandpa, can you help me with this?
Help you with what?
Getting over this.
Getting over what?
Hatred. Just things so sad.
Mm-hmm. You mean if you got things... I'm sorry, go ahead. Don't let me interrupt.
Being just locked up in my room. Help me with that.
Do you really want me to help you? How much do you want me to help you?
A lot.
A lot? How much? This much?
Your grandpa is sort of into this male thing, isn't he? I think he's pushing you a bit harder than he needs to.
What do you think?
I think your grandpa needs to say, sure I will.
Absolutely.
Sure I will.
You know I'll help you.
You're my kiddo. You're my grandson.
You know I'll help you. I'll help you as much as you want, whenever you want. Okay.
Rob.
We'll go fishing. You want to go? We've talked about it a lot, right? You want to go?
Rob.
Okay.
Tell your grandpa. Say, Grandpa, don't ever stop loving me.
Grandpa, don't ever stop loving me.
Okay, that's a deal. That's a deal. I never will. And you have to promise me one thing. Look at me. Look at me. You have to never stop loving me either. Is that a deal? Now look at me again. You have to never stop loving your mom. Is that alright? Because I'll never stop loving her either. So we have to always promise. One of those old man kind of promises that we'll never stop loving your mom. Is that a deal? I don't see your eyes. Where are your eyes?
You do.
They're there? Okay.
But Grandpa, sometimes I am going to get mad at her still.
Yeah,
It's not going to make it easy. I may not be able to make it go away sometimes.
I get mad at her sometimes too. Just like I get mad at you sometimes when you don't clean up your room like your grandma tells you to.
But that's different, Grandpa.
It's a little bit different though, isn't it?
It's a lot different, Grandpa.
It's a lot different. And if you're mad with her, it's alright. But you can still love her, right? Do you ever get mad at me? Oh, come on now.
That's different too, Grandpa.
That's different.
If my dad had beat me in front of you, you never would have let him do it.
That's true.
But she let him do it, Grandpa.
Yeah.
And she found some way to stop him.
Yeah.
And you didn't drink in front of me, Grandpa, like she did.
Yeah.
You didn't get drunk in front of me.
No.
And it's hard to forget those things, Grandpa. It's hard.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what? I am impressed. I am impressed with a grandfather. I'm impressed with a grandson. I'm impressed with the both of you. You're happy. You're happy. What are you happy about?
I think they won't let me down like my parents did.
They won't, will they? And you got them. You got grandparents around you. 2 great grandparents. I could see your happiness. You're coming alive, fella. And you know how to do it. You know how to let them help you now. You might forget once in a while, but they can remind you. You need their help. And they want to help. And they're good at helping. And you're going to be able to get your life back. What do you think? I didn't hear it. What'd you say?
Good.
Say it again.
Good.
Say it again.
It's good.
You look at me and say it.
It's good.
Am I pushing you a bit too hard? I say, enough, Dan. Leave me alone. My grandfather could do this, but you can't. Is that what you want to say?
Yes.
Say it then.
Let,
It's okay. You have permission.
let my grandpa do this.
Not me.
Not you.
Okay, deal. I don't have to worry about it because I know your grandfather will. I don't have to worry. Oh, we're going to have to be stopping. Why? I like to continue, but there's no need to continue for now. That doesn't
Thank
mean we're
you
not going to
so
meet
much.
again, because we got to meet some more.
Yes.
Because your grandson has opened up some big things,
Yes.
but we may need to go back at them again a time or two. We may need to make sense of some other things.
For sure.
Because we're asking him to change some stuff about who he is.
Yeah.
Is he a worthwhile fellow? Does he deserve love? And to make sense of some more things with his parents, his father and his mother, different. Says they're different people and he loves them differently probably, I don't know. And then help him to figure out how to get it going again with you two in terms of really relying on you and learning how to have fun again.
Right.
Yeah.
How to sort of soak it up, living with you two. Look at your grandfather. Look at him right now. Quick, quick, quick. See that smile of his? That's delightful. It's like he has his grandson back. Oh, is he pleased? Look at him. Look, one more time. That's all. One more. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Yes. Okay, so see you guys next Tuesday.
Okay,
Thank
we'll
you.
see
Have a
then.
good
Thank
week.
You very much.
Yeah, I'm going to have a lot of questions about what you three are going to be up to this coming
What
week.
do you say to him?
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Say it again.
Thank you.
Thank you. How much?
Thank you so much.
There you go.
And thanks for your honesty and your courage to do this. You're 14. I'm sad you have to do this really, really hard work, but you do, and you're doing it, and I'm glad. And I'm glad you have your grandparents to help you with it. See you next week.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yes.
Bye-bye now.
The session you just watched of Robbie and his grandparents involves highlights of that session in which Robbie very slowly moves from a general awareness of his unhappy and sad and discouraged state to some understanding of the roots of that state. We moved from a general idea of how, having lost his mother from his point of view and having had to move to live with his grandparents, he often thought that it was his fault, he had made a mistake, he had done things that he should not have done that caused the problems with his mother. This moved in his general awareness to a general view that there's something wrong with him, that he was just a bad boy. And part of that was because he had a great deal of difficulty acknowledging that he was very angry with his mother. He loved her, he still does, his grandparents love her. So facing the fact that she failed him in a major way was very difficult for him and elicited a lot of shame. Gradually, as the underlying factors in his withdrawal and sadness and discouragement emerged, one could see that Robbie started to have a bit more life, a bit more engagement with his grandparents, more receptive to their initiatives, and even took a bit of initiative himself. This process is going to be a very slow one as Robbie gradually rewrites his story of the meaning of his past and the meaning of the future possibilities that he has. I hope that you find it to be quite informative about this journey for this one adolescent. Thank you.